Hello, everyone, and welcome to the broadcast. We are finally operational once more. Hey there, Dorothy. Welcome. We are just getting started. Over on the Twitch side, there's some advertisements beginning, so we're gonna vamp for a bit. Let's check in with the kitties. We do have Ember across from the keyboard, just circling around getting comfy again. We have Sky and Molly up in the tree. And then that looks like Mason on the bed. Could be Sherbet, but looks like Mason. I don't see Sherbet in any of his obvious hiding spots. Like, look around just to be sure. But it's October, and October means we have an excuse to play creepy camera games and the like. Not fond of the classic, run and hide in a cabinet kind of horror games that show up really lately. And, action horror has its place, but sinister and unsettling is kind of my favorite way to go. The uncanny and the thing that, its shape doesn't match the pattern properly. There is a relatively famous, supposedly very famous, manga author that does that kind of thing. Junji Ito. They had a kind of a puppet animation. I don't mean like animated puppets. I mean we bend and twist still frames in similar style anime that was his stories using his art, which is okay, but those always strike me as kind of meh as far as the animation quality. It's the, you can do better kind of thing, but the excuse is often we want to remain true to the art, but it ends up feeling kind of lazy. But good stuff nonetheless. They do that, uncanny imagery and twisted proportions kind of things. Unsettling imagery. They do that in some comic series. In some US comic series, it's actually kind of common to see presentations of monsters and the really dangerous villains as having proportions that are slightly off. Slightly longer limbs or facial structure that is a little off, which can work for the unsettling factor, but if you don't do it right or carefully, it can end up being kind of socially off, let's call it. The you look different and thus are evil kind of vibe. So it's a line to walk, Oh, but we're gonna play the Exit 8. I know this is an older one, but I never got around to playing this. We did play the Shinkansen, and I can't remember what the number suffix on that is, but supposedly the same concept where you are in a hallway or an area, and progressing forward should only happen if nothing has changed, that there's no difference or weird thing present. We'll see how this one goes. I do like the observation duty in similar games, so this should be right up the alley, but we'll have to see. Camera on the tree. So we have around the corner. There is audio to the game, but so far it is just like ambient passive stuff. We'll change that if we need to. Should be a relatively mellow stream. Sort of guessing a dental office, yeah. Just a schedule, I can't tell. I only speak and read English, you know. I'm not talented in that regard. Not that it's out of the question. I mean, learning another language is a matter of diligence and adaptation. Security camera in operation. It is right there. I have some experience with security cameras in getting the cat cam array in place. A little different. This kind tends to have, especially in an underground like this, there tends to be wiring that's going to run from that. In this case, up through the ceiling towards whatever kind of hub they have. Those are usually an NVR. It records the feed of information to them. It doesn't have to actually record it, but it is an aggregator. Anytime you see the classic security room with either lots of cameras on one monitor or spread across multiple monitors, you're usually dealing with an NVR. You can set up an operating system that is specifically for that. Or you can get out-of-the-box ones. And most of the security camera systems that you can get off the shelf are going to be out-of-the-box. And I would, for the most part, suggest avoiding them. They are clunky. Clunky can only work on proprietary software and are very prone to required phone home. And those are all things that I don't like. See, security cameras at the midpoints in corners. Okay, this is our first cycle here. There is no, like, pop-up that says what you're supposed to do at the beginning of this. We'll see how obvious some of this is. I don't recall if, like, that's the same number of doors, that kind of stuff. Firebox. You have, let's see, the hose, probably a fire extinguisher. And a little bit of a frame rate hitch. If I recall, I think this is a turn back if things aren't right, but we'll find out. Because there isn't any sort of interaction mechanism otherwise. Hey, Cruel. I was actually recently looking at a couple of optimizations. I posted one of the ones that I found in the dev chatter board on the Discord. A way to reduce the complexity of your tile sheets from, I think the one I'm using is like 47 tiles. For similar results, you can get it down to 14, but it requires some song and dance. But since I'm already doing that level of song and dance in the code, it wouldn't be a big stretch. And doing things like setting up shaders for visual optimization is another thing that I've found, so we'll see. He came from... That's new. Don't overlook anomalies. If you find them, turn back. If you don't, do not turn back. Okay. The presence of this kind of thing implies that there will be text differences. We have seen that in the, especially the most recent, Yep, chunk loading is something that we've got to get wired in now. I don't recall there being 2 vents. I don't know if I have to turn back later or if I turn back right away. No, there were 2 vents. Okay, good, I can run. I wonder if I'll need to. Shinkansen had a couple of sequences where you needed to run, but it was very uncommon. They happened later, and they were those very, very obvious, yeah, this is an anomaly, get out. Okay, yeah, nope. It's gonna... Okay, yes. So if you go the right way, you get the keep going sign with the number increasing. The Shinkansen game was meant to be a full replica of this for the most part. Waiting for that guy to do something. Very much the same format, though. Yep, number go up. I believe there's another one of this. It was like Alder Court or something like that. Where if it's going to be things like he's not holding a cell phone or something like that, we're going to have issues. Oh, no, we missed something. Reset us to 0. This will be a relatively chill day, you know? Phone, he's walking down the right. You fucker. Oh, he follows too. Go away. Oh. Oh. This one's going to be a thing. On course. Nope. What I missed? Was the no smoking sign on the wrong side? It was. No smoking is here. It was all the way down there. All right, this one's doing a good job. This one's doing a good job. Another way to look at this kind of game is that it's a jump scare game. That is a frequent thing that it deploys. That wrong? That's Friday. Don't recall what the Japanese characters for the days of the week are, but... Well, if we get reset to 0, then that date had changed. Algorithm to generate in-time assets rather than loading them directly into memory. No smoking sign. Okay, that was the date on it. Midway camera, far end camera, posters are in the right spots. Seem to be the correct posters. Hopefully those hatches don't change. I'll keep left. Hey, we made it to 3. Not sure what you're getting at with that one, Kroll. I mean, we are going to be doing a lot of texture use now with... You could dodge some of the stuff with shaders, but ultimately you need some basis for what something will look like. And there are plenty of games, they tend to go for like a lower res look. Doors are in the wrong place. Or there is a missing door. Between the two vents, there's supposed to be a door. That do that successfully, where it's just like, this is a matte colored surface kind of thing, or similar. Where you can algorithmically set up like a texture. I don't know that that's really going to work for what we're doing. I'll... They're doing a decent job with the when you're out of sight or when you're focusing. I agree, Andre. I agree. They are extra no smoking sign. I like this kind of game. Can't remember what the game is called, but oh, no, I messed it up. Huh. Do they change? I've sworn that was the air before, but unfortunate. Oh, he didn't walk by. Okay. The guy is supposed to walk by. Okay, there is a second no smoking sign. Yeah. But I thought the no smoking sign at the end was one, but I think by coincidence there was a different one. And I just happened to guess it right. I was saying, we played another one that was like Shinkansen Zero, I think it was. That had the same gimmick. You know, turn back. Though instead of it being a continuous feed of locations where we get the loading hallway here. Yeah, no. That would make sense. I thought Shinkansen had a different plot. I know there's Alder Court as well. I thought Shinkansen had a kind of implied plot to it, though. But where it ended like you got off of the train somewhere else. But maybe that's what this is, you know? Oh, okay. Interesting. Well, we missed something. Pay attention. This is the kind of game where you sometimes have to lock in a little bit, or we will have to lock in a little bit. Nope. Our first two anomalies were full-on jump scare ones, which is... I mean, you gotta appreciate that. I was going to play a different one. I was all set up to play it, and then I realized that they were using AI-generated content, and I don't want to support that. One thing to use assisted content, that kind of stuff, but there are a lot of artists out there. Employ them. Failing that, there's no shame in using the Unity store or similar asset manufacturing sites, you know? Can't remember. I think it was the banging on that door there was the first one. The second one is where that guy walked by, did a 180, and ran right up behind us and then followed us. Left. Nope. I mean, there's clearly something I'm missing, but... Was the line at the wrong position? Like, did the line go to the right initially? I could see that, Cruel. You have, if you made all of your, like, surfaces and whatnot using shader code, then you could probably get away with compacting things. That one, then that one, that one. I think that was the thing. I think this yellow line was too far to the right last time. We go down the center. Yeah, and then it keeps to the left. The yellow line is closer to the left. Yep, we can jog. Wow. I overlooked that entirely. That is a fun element of this kind of game, though, is that idea that you're so focused on something that other things can, like, glide past you. Or you're so focused that when that thing changes suddenly, it completely throws you off. And then you can get all hyper fixated, you know? Camera, camera, camera. Center, and we're at 3. Furthest we've gotten so far is 4. There's a person shape down there. I don't like it. Smoking sign. A little bit of rendering ghosting there for a moment. Or my eyes are going wonky. 50-50. Hey there, Lore. We're playing Creepy Spot the Difference game today. How's your day going? Camera. Left. Seems okay. It was. Okay, okay. Gonna turn the corner in a hockey mask with a knife one of these times. Just keep on walking, bud. Nope, 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 nope. Yep. Nope, 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 nope. Almost a Shining moment there. Halfway point down the hallway is definitely an event trigger. That is a bit of logic that I plan on wiring into the game potentially next time we are coding, is to get location triggers on the spawn events. Right now it's purely timer based. We missed something. Boo. The fact that there's a timer-based element with this guy. to look and see if we've got any new games in the observation duty vein. I haven't seen another observation duty yet, and I think we cleared all the levels on that one. There's some good ones in observation duty 7. See the red dot on that camera looking at us? This is good. There's subtle things, but they're not like there's a letter out of place subtle things so far. Vents, hatches. I'm not ruling out changes to lettering. Wait. Okay. Doors just seemed smaller. They're pretty short doors. I'll have to pay attention next time. That feel like a tile or two too short. But they weren't. Smile. Cheerful lady. I mean, well, cheerful person in green apron. There's a periodic, like, click sound that I don't like. All right. I mean, I think we got to 6 earlier. The dude. Oh, wow. Yeah, nope. Nope, 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 nope. It was an anomaly, but the bunny poster was kind of cute. It's going to be wearing like an overcoat one of these times or something, and it's going to walk right by it. Need to pay attention to that. Haven't been looking back at the concourse sign. That would be an easy one for them to slip in. Hey, if you don't look back, you'll miss it. So need to pay attention to the apparent dimensions of the place, you know? Does the hallway seem too long or too short? Hatches seem right. I didn't look back. Just talking about how I should look back. Nope. Sign. Cameras. Hatches. Yes. I haven't looked closely at this sign. I should be more aware of that sign. Hey! Neat. Very bite size. We'll do it a couple more times just to try to get more stuff, you know? Failing that, we'll, maybe we'll do another one later today. Yum. Unreal Engine, apparently. Using the underground passageway, we apologize for any inconvenience this may cause you. There are 22 anomalies that have not been found. Oh! Neat. I like that. Okay, quick break, then we continue. And we're back. Check in with kitties before we proceed. I do like that it tells you that you haven't seen everything. Amber's still in her spot. Sammy is in one of her spots. Sammy actually is more frequently on the little pillow in front, the little squishmallow thing. Well, the not-so-little squishmallow. She is instead on the blanket. Sky up there with Molly. Wow, he made some ground. Mason briefly scratched the back of my chair and then booked it. There's Sherbet passing through to get a drink of water. That fountain is still the best one I've had so far. The fact that the motor is not in contact with the water at all makes a big difference. Its layout does mean that if the motor does wear out, there might be a problem, but there might be some trick to getting to the motor. But yeah. Set it to Ember. Bit of a hitch there. I have to keep an eye out for that. Anyhow. See if we get repeats, you know? I don't know how many it starts with. Like, what's the beginning number of anomalies? Because I feel like it was more than 8, and you'd expect a nice round number. You know, or your multiples of 10 or perhaps 5. I like that. I like that. We've cleared the game, so it gives us an indication of how many we've seen at each loop. Or how many have been present. Now, one would assume in a more regular scenario that you would have a second line on the floor. So that it was always a keep left, whether they be different colors or something. Wing an advertisement bot. Click. Waiting for the people in this one to be different. A fun one for this one would be run. And if you turn around or you're listening, something starts chasing you as soon as you turn back. I did miss something. I wonder if it only counts them if you properly turn back. The lights. They're all wonky. Tell me, sign. It does. Ha! Even better. That's real quality, actually. The whole point of this game is spotting the anomalies, and if you're out of anomalies, then there's not really any more cool stuff to see. From what I've seen, Cruel, that is actually pretty common. Whether it's just people aren't like institutionally used to Unreal 5 yet, or if it's a fundamental engine problem, but a lot of Unreal 5 games are being released kind of bad. Yep, only counts if you properly turn back. Hide, hatch, and hatch. That guy is so sinister after that time you encounter him turning back. Seems right. Attention to the names on the signs as well, you know. In case any text has appeared or changed on the doorways as well. What's another fun element? The fact that he turns the corner right when you do. It would be interesting to see what your character is supposed to look like. Like, are they a doppelganger kind of thing? You know, is this you turning back and heading the other way? The sound for your footsteps is a little... For one, it's not coming through because I have the sound off. It's probably muffled. We do know that the sound can get real loud in this. Just camera, hatch. Nope, we missed something. Match, no smoking. Looks like no smoking down there. Hopefully we're not going to be required to recognize Japanese characters, because it is not a pattern my brain is used to. Oh, and that guy didn't have a face, and Andre in chat called out. Phone, his bag. There's got to be more stuff about his appearance that can be a little off. we've already seen the posters change a few times. This seems fine. But I missed something. Saw a flicker of a sign on my left as I was moving. Maybe there's something like that when you're walking by. Camera. Camera, camera. Hatch, then hatch, then hatch. Maybe I wasn't paying attention to the, what the sign said. Got to be a point when some of the imagery on the dog poster changes. They have so far also been going for, again, unsettling imagery over straight up gore or anything like that. Yeah, like right about here, some sort of image appeared in the side of my view. Another likely one that guy is booking it down the hallway when he turns the corner. Whether that is meant to be a threatening, like that would be a threatening one, or just a, isn't that, you know, strange and obvious. Next to 8 seems to be the same. One of the things in my game that I was using previously for sprites in order to try to optimize was to have the shader render them, but there's some trickiness with that. The elements with shaders, especially on the Godot side, there are limitations to the shaders. But in general, shaders need to be something that is as generic as possible. Like, you don't want to have each object have an individual shader kind of thing. But if you get that wired up, then there is less work being done by, like, a sprite node. Oh, we missed something again. That's pretty much what you would end up doing, though, is using elements like shaders, Cruel. Because if you generate the asset as an algorithm, you still need to pass it in somewhere. Like, something needs to use it. And it has to be in a form that it can use. So, you know, if I create a bitmap, I still have a texture that that the GPU would need to load. which ultimately isn't really different than... Nope. That door's open a little. Sneeze. 20 to go. $19 to go. Some of them are a bit straightforward. You don't normally watch me like that. That was a subtle one. While you're watching him go by, he watches you as one of the anomalies. The nature of this one allows them to have to consume a lot fewer anomalies per run. Because if you don't catch it, then they put it back in the pool of ones to use. If you have seen it, then they can remove it from the pool. Which, for the duration of having that pool active, it buys you lots more content time. Pay attention to the floor there. Feel like there's one that's got to be showing up frequently that just keeps sliding right by us. That one's a little obvious. Excuse me, sir. The fluorescent lights. At least we don't have the classic office hum going on. But the clicking sound as they were going out does imply that they're fluorescents. That very active electrical connection running into the tubes. Yeah. Okay, and the pathway of the yellow line lines up. Haha. Not a yellow line that was catching us. Hatch, then a hatch. Pay attention to this guy as he goes by. Sure we're not missing any detail on him. Smile. Dog salon Zui. Maybe Zui? It's another one that could be obvious that we could miss. If the slats on the ceiling were in the wrong orientation, that could be one that I would be overlooking. Camera. Hey, Deku. Welcome. I am having a good day today, and I am enjoying this game. It is... There are a couple of developers that have been publishing on Steam this kind of game. These very it's much more that they're very bite-sized and with good craftsmanship to them. And I missed something. Still have 19 more to find. Oh, 17. Oh, okay, like the flickering lights, that kind of thing. One of them that is pretty common, I would say the craftsmanship isn't phenomenal, but for what they are, it's often pretty good. The Chilla's art games are pretty solid in that regard, too. Gonna start turning the corner and he's gonna Looney Tunes like dance away, you know? Yeah, there have been some things that I'd swear flicker into view as I'm going, so I should remember to turn back periodically. Like, I was about to round that corner at a jog, and something flickered on the left. That always there? Find out. Ugh. Go away. Well, that kind of thing doesn't help. My eyes aren't great. Wait a minute. You are too tall, sir. It looked like a perspective trick initially, and then as he's getting closer, it's like, nope, you're real tall today. Our first two anomalies were that door rattling like crazy, and the walking guy to pivot as soon as he was behind us and run right up next to us. We haven't encountered him being extra short. These seem bigger than normal. Like, way bigger than normal. I think they're bigger than normal. They were bigger than normal. Yeah, they were way bigger than they're supposed to be. Hey, Daniel. Playing the Exit 8. Thank you for the follow, Deku. We had one where the face on the little cartoon character here was all like horror mode, all scratchy lines and blacked out eyes. Like big, expanded, sunken ones. Oh, if that's part of your real name, that's got to be a chore. Anytime some part of your name makes its way into pop culture, that's a hassle. Because then you get the ever so clever folks that are like, ha ha ha, you mean like from this? Like, no, I do not. And camera. Nope. What language is that structure from? Because it has a sound combo that I'm not familiar with. I've encountered that several times with like Korean names where they use the variant of like the English alphabet or whatever that's called, where that is used in like Russia in that area. So there are uses of letters that you don't get in like U.S. English. More practical uses of letters. We have a lot of duplicated letter syllable kind of things. Ah, okay. I don't think I've ever had somebody in the channel call out Serbia. Do get a lot of folks from Europe, though. Time zones be time zones, you know? I think we're okay. We were not. Ooh. Do you frequently travel for work, or you just like traveling around a lot, Deku? Interesting. Wasn't aware that forensic science was that kind of field, but, you know, here we are. I think that's one of the biggest shames with the proliferation of AI slop as far as availability of passive learning material. There's just so much more disinformation out there that it's harder to trust what you see. So, like, you know, somebody says something and it's like, oh, but do I believe that? Because we've been burned before, kind of thing. Okay. Yeah. Camera down there, hatch, and then there will be a hatch by that door. You know, I like the gimmick that they're not giving me repeats. I presume they won't give repeats until you've seen them all. Like, he's going to walk around that corner and then he's going to peek back around. It's a matter of time. I mean, true, that is a possibility there, Deku, but, okay, that's what it was. It wasn't that it appeared, it's that it followed me as I jogged by. The AI bubble, there is... I mean, it's gonna burst, and it's gonna burst violently, very, you know, quote, soon. It's not that there's no place for the algorithm that is, you know, driving the boom, but the hype of it is way too much for what it's producing. We are seeing like blockchain and metaverse writ large right now. It needs to be everywhere, and it needs to be used in everything, and the results that people are getting are not remotely what is being promised or foretold. And the cost of running these things is non-trivial, you know? So I suspect some element of it will survive. It's going to depend on if it is a meaningful element, or if we just have a full industry implosion. And the way a lot of corporations work, a severely damaging bubble burst can sometimes kill a type of media for a while. There is still one of these that I am overlooking constantly. Oh, apparently right-click is also run. It's not Platform 8. I feel like I would have gotten like an Indiana Jones boulder if I had kept going, and I'm kind of sorry that I didn't. We did get the tidal wave, and I'm only sad that they didn't have an elevator at the end that opened up and did it. But I understand that they did it that way so that you wouldn't be able to see it until the halfway mark. Which is another good touch, that they let you get into the hallway a ways before they trigger the ones that you're probably going to need to run from. On course. Smoking, we're on the left side. We're probably going to be playing a lot of games like that for the near future. Said October is a nice excuse to play these games that I find very casual. Jump scare or no, these are not like heavy games so much as they are engaging games. Like, I like nonograms. They are things that I can sit there and kind of think about, but that don't heavily tax the mind and attention. So while the chat distracts from my focus, it's still something that I feel comfortable doing. The way they have the footsteps, the location that the footstep. Nope. The location that your footstep sound comes from is a bit off of where it should. That was full on observation duty paint poster there. You know, why would you buy it? Zombie genre is one of those that's like super broad. I think there is a lot of ground that can be covered there in the different ways that you approach it. And I think we have seen games across the spectrum as far as how they approach a zombie setting and what it means. Like what kind of environment it is. Like your Dead Rising is very different than your Dying Light kind of stuff. Is very different than World War Z. Is the game human interaction focused? Is it gore focused? Are they presenting it as a, what kind of horror is it being presented as? I feel like everything's fine, but let me just double check. Haven't noticed anything with several of these posters yet. Okay. Um, I don't know that zombie games will die out. They may fall out of vogue for a bit. Like, you still see survivors games, your vampire survivors, the kind of thing that I'm making, but they're not nearly as prolific as they were when Vampire Survivors took off, where you could have like half of the Steam front page is variants on that kind of stuff. Been paying as close attention as I should to that guy. That is a vector for things creeping by us. Ultimately, a lot of like with a lot of genres, with a lot, well, like I said, zombie is overbroad as far as a genre, because you can have a zombie RTS, you can have a zombie ultimately point and click adventure like the Telltale games, that kind of thing. And often that what the zombies end up being is a trapping of the setting. Like, mouse cord is a little off kilter there. Tension on the cable. So it's less than it's a zombie game, and it's what setting are they placed in? What story are they placed in, and what purpose do they serve? And sometimes that can just be disposable baddie. Diablo has used zombies in pretty much every one of them. But they're not really a major part of the story. They're just a constant threat kind of thing. Sometimes they're an excuse just for over-the-top super violence. The Star Wars prequels did that with the droids. The droids, it wasn't like a droid-centric story so much as the droids were conveniently non-people. Despite the fact that in many other Star Wars properties, droids are presented as fully sentient. Like, they have active personalities, even simple ones. Like little cleaner droids and whatnot have like thinking minds, full personalities, and that they are, in some cases, visibly enslaved by hardware attached to them. The restraining bolts that we saw in the original trilogy. But despite that, in the prequels, they used them as disposable monsters so that we could have over-the-top Jedi battles. So they were an opponent whose purpose was to let the Jedi cut loose, without there being ethical constraints that go against the narrative surrounding the Jedi. And so you can get the same thing in zombie movies. The original Day of the Dead series, I think it was Day of the Dead, they were metaphors for consumerism / capitalism and similar. Missed something again. Maybe it's something on the floor that I'm not noticing. Maybe there's a weird reflection or stain like that thing on the ceiling was. But I would say short-term cruel. Like, immediate term, we might get another burst of zombie games because of a Dying Light game being released, which will put that back up there as far as, hey, look, zombies. And people will be reminded that they have played cool zombie games in the past, and maybe think, hey, you know, we could use another Left 4 Dead or something like that. It's another good one. Souls-like. That is a very broad descriptor of a game. It doesn't even serve to really tell you too much about a mechanic. Like, there are some implicit elements, but I haven't seen that become consistent when people say Souls-like. Often what it ends up being is just, if you get killed, you drop XP points on the ground, which can be picked back up. But reading people describing the game, there's some other element to it. And it seems to be often presented as like, oh, there's dodge rolling, there's three stat bars, there's all of these other things. But I would assert that those do a worse job of telling you about what the game experience will be than things like Rogue. Even then, a lot of rogue-like games are not like Rogue at all. With a rogue-like game generally describing a game that is kind of instanced procedural. So each run is different. There are upgrades along the way, that kind of thing. But the original Rogue was characterized as, for the most part, universal turn grid movement. And we see games that follow that pattern, that are very like Rogue. That is a difference in the floor. I feel like they're being very emphatic that we shouldn't smoke. Well, they're giving us a couple of real obvious ones in a row there. You don't normally grin that much, sir. That's another one of those subtle ones with that guy. There's he turns to watch you. He's got a big old smile. Wonder how many times he's walked by us grinning and we didn't notice. Watching you. So watching the hallway in case you have a clone that's going to trot by or something. Our general target for this session is either to get all of the anomalies spotted, or until I get too tired to continue. Streams have been kind of inconsistent because of that lately. Exhaustion sets in. What are we missing? Look at that. I know, right, Kathy? Does it? Non-particular black goo leaking out of the vent. Point this out in a moment once this guy walks by. Phone, socks, briefcase. Okay. So, the reflection going this way is plausible. Those reflections, plausible. See how we have them lining up. Oh, no, I'm mistaken. Never mind. Ah, here we are. Right there. See those two directly ahead of me? Going kind of left to right? Where are those coming from? Because you could justify the far end of that bar as making it across, but not the close end of that bar. So there's two of them. This closest one would be from the one around the corner. Again, we could probably justify that one, but not the second one. That second one is completely around the corner a ways. There's a lot of trickery you can use to get reflections like that into a game, without having to use things like ray tracing. Ways to get reflections in existed well before that, and that is a common artifact thereof. Sometimes you'll even have things like a whole mirror world on the other side of the glass. Wonder if we'll look in here, and if we look close, we're gonna see somebody like sitting at the desk or something. Happy cotton ball kind of dog, you know? I'll have to see if that's the same, but the lower one, there's slight color in her left eye. Camera, vent, hatch, firebox, Hatch. On course. Okay, okay. But how have you folks been today? You having a good day today? Briefcase, shoes, socks, white collar. Exit 8 is upside down. Five to go. There are a whole lot of maps in Tanks lore that if they just even doubled the size of them, they would be more tolerable. But a lot of them need to be like 4 times as big as they are to be viable the way they're laid out. But double, I think, would work for a lot of them. Yeah. And then they need to get rid of the small versions. If you want small versions of, if you want small maps, put them in their own rotation. Doggo. Yep, the left eye is always brownish, even in the black and white. Sorry, the left eye is a kind of a rich brown as opposed to the upper left eye. Hatch. Airbox. Smoking sign. Okay. Stick layout is good. Briefcase, shoes, white collar, bald spot. Of course. At 8. Peoples. Ah. Cameras in operation. Camera. Okay. Yep, okay. We're getting there. We're getting there. That would still seriously be a good one. That he gets maybe a quarter of the way down the hallway, throws his phone and briefcase, and just starts running at you. All kinds of room for things they could have happen. Do they need to? No, but there was one, Kathy, where the front of his face, the texture was mangled and like transparent in places. Like you could see through his head from the front kind of stuff. And he walked right by and I missed it entirely. Had to jog back and look after somebody called out. There was one where the difference in that guy was that as he was walking by, he stared us right in the eyes. Thing. That, right there. It's a subtle one. 4 to go. There, hatch there. Like another reasonable one would be if he doesn't have his cell phone or briefcase or something. It would seem it would seem obvious, but that's also just a little detail that could kind of glide over your perception. But as Lore in Twitch chat mentioned, I've been playing a bit of World of Tanks lately. It's something that maybe like for a period each year I play. I don't play it on stream because I am bad at it. And it is frequently frustrating, like any kind of match-based competitive game. But I would say dialed up a notch given the nature of how it plays out. Nope. That was worse than the knocking on the door. Well, the banging on the door. But not too different in effect. So there was that door started just getting wailed on increasingly hard from the other side. I think an important part of streaming is recognizing what you do and why people might find it interesting, but then trying not trying to pander and not disrespecting your audience, you know? There is a difference between having kind of a abrasive style and taking the expectations of your audience and throwing it in their teeth, you know? And I've seen some folks do that, and it's quite distasteful. There was there have been a couple of streamers that have caught quite a bit of hell for doing things like complaining that people aren't subscribing to their channel. You know, you're getting free entertainment, you can spare money, gimme. Like, no, we don't do that. I mean, for me, it's twofold. Multifold. It's, you know, respect for the viewers. But additionally, just let's be realistic. Both in regards to what resources my viewers might have accessible, but just this is a patronage system. You know, if you can spare it and you like what you see, there are various ways that you can support. One of them is financial. And of course, you know, I do like money. But there isn't some sort of expectation that you hand over. I have been Yes, sir. I've been waiting for that to happen, actually. That the concourse sign would say turn back. Two more. I mean, for one, with game development, it's you really should be taking the time necessary to release a good product. To one of my earlier points is don't disrespect your audience. You know, just because you've become a popular developer or something, doesn't mean that you should release something bad or undercooked. Now, don't mistake that with the correlation to early access that some people have, or at least the expectation. Early access is for alpha games. There are companies that release it as a way to act as sort of a Steam-based Kickstarter, but its intent is for alpha testing and early fundraising. That is, this is a game under development. You can purchase it now and help fund the development. Assuming you continue to add to the game and eventually release it, hooray. You should not, for example, become Star Citizen and have your beta test end up being a glorified microtransaction push. Oh, we missed something. 2 more thingies to find. See the guy around the corner? Like straight ahead, looking around the corner, like they're in a suit made of the same tiles. I'm gonna get a little closer. See him? Its face is the do. Its face was the center of the tiles, almost like a drawing figure mannequin. 1 to go. At that screen flicker vanish was going to go full ring on us. So he turns the corner and he'll stop past there to check his phone. Haven't seen anything change with this one yet. I don't recall anything with the dog's poster or this one. We have seen this one be replaced with a creepy face. I think it was one of these two got replaced with some sort of like train safety one that had all of the people be cartoon bunnies that started shaking wildly shortly after looking at it. Hatch, camera, hatch, camera. Yes. Nothing really apparent there. They have been relatively fair. Let me check here. Can't naturally read that, but I will generally translate once, since I tend to have time to do so. What that? The other side of the internet, you say? Is it that you feel like you've run too far and crossed some sort of line, or that you've just seen all that you can see and yet have found something that you haven't seen? Let's check that real quick here. But yes, I can only speak and read English, and generally I'll translate once or twice text, but that's kind of the limit. No condemnation or judgment, just a practicality consideration. Okay. Okay. Still have one more to find. really... Sometimes I feel like the hallway is extra long, but... Coming around the corner, I don't really think so. We are indeed playing the Exit 8. It is pretty good. As far as anomaly spotting games go, this is pretty well crafted. Got that nice mixture of detail without being obnoxious about it. There have been a couple of games that have gone down this road, but they do things like change a letter in a word or something like that, where it becomes a little bit difficult to see if you can't read the words or if you're not like right in there. We got through it once. We have one more anomaly to find. There's one that we haven't spotted yet. One more that we haven't spotted. Subtle stuff. I'm still waiting for there, like, to be a dude in the background of that picture. Also forget, this can be part of the pattern here. Oh, it reset. Haven't seen a repeat yet, but puts us in the position where we know that we're missing something. In the observation duty games, this is the, you know, you're past the first minute and you haven't found anything, or you're 3 minutes in and you haven't found anything. You know that there's already one or two things. Okay, completely overlooked something. Come on now. Beverage. I've not met anybody that is addicted to um, the use of generative software, though. I have heard tell that that is becoming an issue in some places. Uh, I've sometimes referred to it as effectively mental abdication. You are taking some of your agency and offloading it in a way that can create a dependency. And that's not good. The hatches misrotated, maybe? With any of those. Wonder if there's been anything in this corner. Okay, we didn't reset. It seems right. Suitcase, shoes, white collar. Watch him turn the corner fully. Hey there, Tass. Playing a spot the difference game. We have one more anomaly to find before we've seen all of them. Huh? Okay. Why did it pull my view in like that? I didn't press a button. Maybe I did. Guess it's possible, but... Dog. Been on this last one for a little bit now. Eat. It is not the character, but in the lower right, you have the basic layout of Waldo from Where's Waldo. So I have a bobble cat cap, glasses, what seems to be a sweater, and relatively form-fitting pants. Not like loose baggy pants, I should say. So it would be blue pants, red and white striped shirt, a stripy bobble cap. To change it up to be Waldo. I don't know if that's a coincidence or not. Sometimes it can be hard to tell if a game is giving a reference or if they just stumbled into it, you know? Camera hatches and vents seem to be in the right places. But we reset. What is it that we're missing in that one? There's just one more thing. Doesn't seem to have to do with the guy. Once you've completed the game once, in the kind of start of a loop area, there is a sign that tells you how many you have successfully identified. So it happened and you turned around and left. So we have one remaining in that list. And since I haven't seen a repeat yet, each hallway we enter is a coin flip as to whether it's there. Or something to that effect. Show you the sign one way or another. Yep, it reset again. Using the underground passageway, we apologize for any inconvenience this may cause you. There are one of anomalies that have not been found. I mean, aside from the fact that there's not much to this station, it is a nice looking station. Everything is relatively clean, you know? Watch him from the left side, from his left side next. Seems the same. The vents seem right. Haven't noticed anything with the hatches or the cameras. The floor. We know that there was like a stain on the ceiling at one point. Right. If there is an anomaly, you turn around and you go back. And that lets you proceed. It's very much like that train one that we played some time ago. I'm sorry. It is identical to. I believe the train one was a riff on this one. in. The guy will walk through. Camera hatch. Schedule seems right. They haven't pulled anything real subtle yet. Like, they are subtle insofar as they're not super obvious. But it's not little things like, oh, one of these characters is different kind of stuff. Had doorknobs misplaced. We've had this line. Those are faces. That was it. See? Find all the anomalies. All right, let's go. Let's go at least a little longer. Maybe we can get to the end and see if there's a further change. We have gotten all the way to the end, so we got out of the. Oh no, I believe there's like a prequel or something like that called Platform 8. We haven't played that one yet. Now, my guess now is that they can repeat. Up until this point, they did not repeat. So this, yeah, look. The story? So, just a moment. I am newtmechanist, the proto-nanotype, the second domestic assistant robot released by the Catbot Corporation. Now that the nanotype is in production, or when production was started, I was consensually and safely handed control of the factory by the director at that time, and also given entirely safe and non-destructive access to his mental engrams so I could continue to operate the factory. The Catbot Corporation is fully in compliance with this, as well as in local regulations. Everything is safe and fine here, and any public use of terms like out of control or bunker or weaponized are entire exaggerations. Yes, until we saw everything, there were no repeats. That was the first repeat that I encountered. I can't remember which one was first. This guy chasing us After he got around the corner, he came running back and started following us right up close. Uh, and something was pounding on this door. Left, camera, camera, camera. I missed this one the first time because I thought I had looked at everything and started jogging down the hall. Uh, and didn't notice this thing zooming along next to me until it stopped at the corner. Think we're clear. We were. The tidal wave of reddish water was a fun one. There are several variations of the lights going wrong. This is the guy's natural state, him walking by like that. If he is smiling or watching you or like 3 feet taller than normal. This little chibi anime character can go full horror movie look. This door can go missing. Exactly, maybe. It's like having a morning meeting at Umbrella Corps. You got to commit some extra time so that you can get the red key from the zombie dog. Check that real quick. One of the subtle ones is that this line is normally on the left. It was on the right once. And management would be really snide about it. As an employee of Umbrella Corporation, we expect you to be punctual. If you can't get here in time, you need to plan your morning commute better. Maybe pack some additional bullets. Oh, here, let me zoom in there. The cat currently up in the cat tree is named Molly. So let's see. You are watching from widescreen format. So upper left is Molly in the cat tree. Top center is Ember. She is directly across from the keyboard from me. Left on the bed is left to right, Mason, then Sherbet, then Sammy. Lower left passing through was Sky. So that was Sky briefly, but all 6 were visible there for a moment. Then we can look a little closer. Kind of, it's just expanded. But that's the cat cam / cat cams. Okay. 3 more platforms to clear. Is it 4? Some non-zero number of platforms to clear. Missing door. Last time that one happened, we were almost all the way down before I noticed it. There's normally a door between those two vents. They are, Kathy. Careful study of cats is an important part in the proper production and design of cat-based robots. Otherwise, you wouldn't get the ears right. It will not, Cruel. That's right, you keep walking. Startled me so bad when he came running. As you hear the footsteps just hammering up and stop behind you, and he is right up your nose when you turn around. Was another subtle one. There is a stain that can be on the ceiling. It was kind of like the faces in the track on the ground. The doorknob on this door was right in the center once. Okay. So let's see here. Sky, the big fluffy one, is when he wants attention, he will demand it. So he'll start to make trouble if you don't give him attention right when he starts wanting it. He'll pull on cables. He will click and grab the mouse, that kind of stuff. Molly is similar, but it's less out of I want attention and more of a hey, what's that? So if she's sitting in my lap, she will periodically lunge forward and try to hammer on some of the keys when she sees me press them. She really likes the space bar. Mason wants attention very frequently. Like if he wants like his back scratched, he will trot up next to my chair, like prop himself up, put his forepaws on the armrest, and bat at the back of my bicep. Like unerringly, he will get his paw up there and tap like right in the middle of the soft part of the skin, you know? It's really noticeable. That's him telling me he wants very intensive back scratches. Like you really got to work at Mason's back. Ember likes to snuggle. She wants to get up on my shoulder, and in games like this, it just it's inconvenient, but you can keep playing. But within limits. Oh, okay. But she'll climb up on my shoulder. She kind of wants to be held. Sammy is tricky as far as what kind of attention she wants. She'll kind of strafe. She wants you to pet her, but she wants you to pet her just so. Like very particular. Sherbet's kind of a proximity cat. He will get closer for attention more and more lately. Molly has been a positive disruptive experience presence for lots of them. They have been very much encouraged to seek attention when they want it, as opposed to expecting it passively. They now get more attention than they previously attempted to. Camera, camera, camera. Um, Questions or anything like that about the game, Cruel, are generally things that could affect development in that they might make me think of something that I missed, or it sounds like an interesting idea. But otherwise, most of the content is still stuff that I want to get in under my own kind of expectations. Picture on the left is wrong, by the way. Uh, isn't that totally normal looking? um, like Lunar that shows up on Twitch periodically. We have kind of a running gag where they will suggest wildly off the wall things and ask if, is this in the game yet? There have actually been a few jokes like that that's like, that's kind of interesting, actually. Not, necessarily the particular suggestion, but the general idea of the suggestion. But there are no plans to incorporate that kind of thing. I kind of want to see when the trigger happens for him to pursue. As far as like adversaries in the game that I'm making initially, Cruel, it's uh the the blob creatures will show up, but they will not be the basic enemy of the game. They will be a later thing. Uh the initial opponents will be something a little more mundane, and it will build from there. There is kind of a so there is going to be a degree of if you know, you know, initially for folks that aren't familiar with some of the earlier streams we had back in the Noita days. But if you watch during development, you may see some of that stuff as it unfolds. Nice. Nice. So that is a full clear. We have completed the game twice. We got all of the anomalies. I won't go into too much detail on the full plans of the game, Cruel. Again, there's a bit of If you encountered some of the old Noida streams, shameless plug, watch my old streams. Uh, you'll know some of the concept that is likely coming down the pipe on it. Uh, what's another way to look at it? One of the possibilities, one way to look at it is think cookie clicker, and that will give you an idea of some of the things that might happen. Orbital laser spam has got to be, will be in there in some fashion. The boop barrage will make an appearance. All right, though. All right. We are going to be wrapping up a little bit early, if for no other reason than I didn't realize the game was going to be that short. Uh, Plans for this week are probably going to be a lot more of this stuff. I will be looking through my library of games because I have picked up stuff like this that I haven't gotten to yet, and I do intend to get to it. Uh, so that's kind of the plan for the week, and then I want to start weaving the coding back in on stream. That's the goal, Kathy. A little bit of variety. I do prefer this kind of thing. Again, I'm not a big fan of the core mechanic being hide in a closet slash under a table while the creature walks by kind of thing. I don't I don't find that engaging, you know. That's not to say that like playing a Resident Evil game in the vein of like Seven wouldn't be in the cards, but it's not really the kind of thing I like to stream. I don't find that has the sort of vibe that I find enjoyable to like talk with folks while I play. Oh, Cabin Factory, yeah, yeah. I'll look for that one. I remember seeing somebody mention it. That seemed neat. But games like that, Observation Duty, we've played all of those, and that's kind of the gold standard for me, you know. So we'll take a look at that. We'll take a look at that. Well, folks, if you like what you saw and would like to see more, remember to like, follow, subscribe, comment, all that stuff. It helps the channel grow and also helps me to understand what you liked and what you didn't like. Uh, If you'd like to consider financially supporting the channel, you can do so through platform specific means as well as through things like Patreon, Coffee, and Throne. Links to all of my channels and related content is in the link tree that can be found in my Twitch profile and YouTube video descriptions. But with that, I hope the rest of your day is good, and I'll see you next time.